What if staying healthy was not mainly about expensive supplements, extreme diets, or punishing workouts? What if it was about the small things you do every day, how you eat, how you move when you sleep, and even how you respond to stress? For thousands of years, Chinese culture has developed a philosophy known as Yangsheng. The term literally means nourishing life. It is not a single exercise, a special diet, or a miracle herbal formula. Instead, it is a way of looking after the body and mind through regular, balanced habits. You might see it in a group of older adults practicing Tai Chi in a park. You might notice it in a family sharing several vegetable dishes around a table, in someone taking a gentle walk after dinner, or in a person quietly preparing tea at the end of a busy day. But what does Yangsheng really mean? Which Chinese health practices are still useful today? Which ideas should be understood symbolically? And which traditional remedies require more caution? In this video, we will explore important Chinese approaches to health preservation and see how traditional wisdom can be combined with modern medical knowledge. This video is for general education. Traditional practices should not replace professional diagnosis or necessary medical treatment. If you have a health condition, are pregnant, take prescription medication, or plan to use herbal products, speak to a qualified healthcare professional. Now, let us begin with the central idea behind Chinese health preservation: balance. At the heart of Yangsheng is the belief that health depends on balance. Traditional Chinese thought often describes this through yin and yang. Yin is associated with rest, stillness, coolness, and inward activity. Yang is associated with movement, warmth, energy, and outward activity. One is not automatically better than the other. The goal is not to eliminate yin or maximize yang. The goal is to create an appropriate relationship between them. Think about work and rest. Working gives us purpose, activity, and mental stimulation. But working constantly without enough sleep or recovery can eventually exhaust us. Rest is essential, but complete inactivity can also weaken the body and negatively affect physical and emotional health. The same principle can be applied to food. Eating provides energy and pleasure, but continuously overeating may harm the body. Extreme food restriction, on the other hand, may cause weakness and nutritional deficiencies. Even exercise requires balance. Too little movement is unhealthy, but training beyond the body ability can cause injury. In practical terms, Chinese health philosophy often advises people to avoid extremes. That does not mean every part of life must always be perfectly balanced. Life is unpredictable, and our needs change. A person recovering from illness may need more rest. Someone who sits at a desk all day may need more movement. The important thing is to pay attention and adjust. Balance, however, should not be used to excuse behaviors that are clearly harmful. Smoking does not become healthy because someone exercises or drinks herbal tea. All forms of tobacco use are harmful. Alcohol also carries health risks, and drinking less generally means lower risk. Modern Yangsheng is therefore not simply about following old customs. It is about combining the useful principle of moderation with reliable health evidence. Food is probably the most visible part of Chinese health culture. A traditional Chinese meal often includes a staple food, several shared dishes, and sometimes soup or tea. Depending on the region, the staple might be rice, noodles, steamed bread, millet, or another grain. The accompanying dishes may include vegetables, tofu, beans, eggs, fish, poultry, or meat. This style of eating can offer an important advantage: variety. Instead of building the entire meal around one enormous piece of meat, several dishes can provide different vegetables, textures, and sources of protein. But we should be careful not to assume that every Chinese meal is automatically healthy. A table full of deep-fried food, processed meat, salty sauces, and sugary drinks is not healthy simply because the dishes are Chinese. The ingredients, cooking methods, and portion sizes still matter. One useful traditional concept is matching the staple food with a range of accompanying dishes. In modern nutritional terms, this means combining carbohydrates, vegetables, and protein. A balanced meal might include brown rice or mixed grain rice, 2 vegetable dishes, and tofu, fish, eggs, beans, or lean meat. Whole grains such as oats, millet, buckwheat, and brown rice can provide more fiber than highly refined grains. Vegetables add vitamins, minerals, and fiber, while tofu, beans, fish, and eggs provide protein. The key word is variety. No individual food can provide everything the body needs. Goji berries, ginger, garlic, green tea, red dates, and sesame are often marketed as Chinese superfoods. They can certainly be enjoyable parts of a balanced diet, but none of them can detoxify the entire body, cure every disease, or compensate for an unhealthy lifestyle. There is no magic ingredient. A healthy pattern is more important than a fashionable product. Chinese cooking offers many ways to prepare vegetables. Stir-frying can preserve flavor and texture, but it is important to control the amount of oil. Steaming, boiling, blanching, and making light soups are useful alternatives. Fruit is another valuable part of the diet. Whole fruit is generally a better everyday choice than sweetened juice because it contains fiber and is usually more filling. For most people, a healthy pattern means eating plenty of vegetables and fruit, choosing whole grains and legumes more often, and limiting foods high in free sugar, unhealthy fat, and sodium. Sodium deserves particular attention in Chinese cooking. Soy sauce, oyster sauce, preserved vegetables, fermented bean products, cured meat, and packaged seasonings may all contain large amounts of sodium. Several of these ingredients can easily appear in the same meal. Instead of relying only on salt and sauces, flavor can come from ginger, garlic, spring onion, chili, vinegar, citrus, mushrooms, pepper, and other herbs and spices. Soup is also important in many Chinese households. A clear soup containing vegetables, beans, fish, or lean meat can contribute to hydration and dietary variety. But soup should not be treated as magical medicine. Cooking something for several hours does not automatically make it more nutritious. Soup made with fatty meat or large quantities of salt may be less healthy than it appears. The same caution applies to herbal soup. Some herbal ingredients can interact with medication or may be unsuitable for people with particular medical conditions. Then there is tea. Green tea, black tea, oolong, white tea, and pu all have different flavors and traditions. Unsweetened tea can be a pleasant alternative to sugary drinks, but tea still contains active substances including caffeine. Very strong tea may cause stomach discomfort, a rapid heartbeat, or difficulty sleeping in sensitive people. So even with tea, the Yangsheng principle remains the same. Enjoy it, but do not assume that more is always better. Finally, how we eat matters as much as what we eat. Eating at regular times can prevent extreme hunger. Eating slowly gives the body time to recognize fullness. Traditional advice often recommends stopping when you feel comfortably satisfied rather than completely full. This is not about obsessively counting every calorie. It is about paying attention to the body. And of course, food safety is part of health preservation. Hands and utensils should be clean. Raw and cooked foods should be kept separate. Perishable ingredients should be stored safely, and meat, eggs, and seafood should be cooked properly. Food cannot nourish the body if it exposes us to infection or contamination. Chinese health preservation often favors forms of movement that can be continued throughout life. Walking, Tai Chi, Qigong, and Bajuanjin require relatively little equipment, and they can often be adapted to different ages and physical abilities. Tai Chi combines slow movement, controlled breathing, changes in body weight, and mental concentration. It originally developed from Chinese martial traditions, but today many people practice it for recreation, balance, and general well-being. One reason Tai Chi is so appealing is that it can be social. When people practice together in a park, they are not only moving their bodies, they are also creating a routine, meeting friends, and spending time outdoors. Research suggests that Tai Chi may help improve balance and reduce falls in some older adults. However, it should not be promoted as a cure for every illness. Beginners can still experience muscle aches or poor joint alignment. Someone with serious mobility problems, dizziness, or a history of falls may need adapted instruction. Bajuanjin, sometimes translated as the 8 pieces of brocade, is another popular form of Chinese exercise. It consists of 8 repeated movements involving stretching, bending, turning, and coordinated breathing. Qigong is a broader category. It may include posture, movement, breathing, and focused attention. These practices can be excellent ways to begin moving, particularly for people who feel uncomfortable with competitive sports or intense gym workouts. However, gentle exercise may not meet every aspect of a person's physical needs. Depending on age and ability, a complete routine may also include brisk walking, swimming, cycling, dancing, or another form of aerobic activity. Muscle strengthening exercises are also important, and older adults may benefit from activities that challenge balance. Any amount of physical activity is better than none, and all movement counts. We do not need a perfect exercise plan before we begin. We can stand up more often, stretch during work breaks, walk to a nearby shop, or take the stairs when appropriate. One particularly simple Chinese habit is walking after dinner. The walk does not have to be fast or long. A comfortable walk can interrupt sitting time, support a daily routine, and provide an opportunity to talk with family members. Sudden chest pain, fainting, severe weakness, or unusual difficulty breathing should never be dismissed as the body releasing toxins. These symptoms require proper medical attention. Traditional Chinese health culture values an orderly daily rhythm. In ancient agricultural society, people often worked after sunrise and rested after sunset. Modern life is very different, but the deeper lesson is still relevant. The body benefits from regular cycles of activity and rest. For most adults, adequate sleep is a biological need, not a reward for finishing all their work. Most adults need at least 7 hours of sleep each day, although individual needs vary. Sleep quality is also important. A practical sleep routine can include going to bed and waking up at similar times, reducing bright screens before bed and keeping the bedroom quiet, dark and comfortable. Strong tea, coffee, alcohol and heavy meals late in the evening may interfere with sleep. Traditional Chinese culture also includes the midday nap, sometimes called wujiao. A short nap can help some people feel refreshed, but a very long or late nap may make it harder to sleep at night. Napping should support a healthy schedule rather than permanently compensate for chronic sleep deprivation. Rest is more than lying on a sofa and scrolling through a phone. Real recovery may involve reading, listening to music, stretching, gardening, preparing tea, talking with someone or spending a little time outdoors. And some sleep problems require professional care. Persistent insomnia, extreme daytime sleepiness, or loud snoring combined with pauses in breathing may be signs of an underlying condition. They should not simply be treated with herbal sleeping products. Chinese traditions have long recognized that emotional life and physical well-being are connected. Traditional Chinese medicine associated particular emotions with particular organs. Those relationships should not be interpreted as proven modern anatomy, but the broader observation that long-term stress can affect health is still meaningful. Different Chinese philosophical traditions offer different approaches to emotional well-being. Confucian thought emphasizes healthy relationships and responsible participation in family and society. Taoist thought often encourages simplicity, flexibility, and acceptance of change. Chinese Buddhist traditions may emphasize awareness, compassion, and freedom from destructive attachment. In everyday life, these ideas can be expressed through activities such as calligraphy, gardening, music, poetry, tea preparation, meditation, and walking in nature. A simple breathing exercise can help create a moment of calm. Sit comfortably, allow your shoulders to relax, breathe slowly without forcing the breath, pay attention to the physical sensation of breathing. The purpose is not to gain supernatural power or force energy around the body. It is simply to pause and notice what is happening inside you. But emotional balance does not mean suppressing every unpleasant feeling. Anger, fear, sadness, and disappointment are normal human experiences. Sometimes they tell us that a problem needs to be addressed. Talking with a trusted person, writing privately, setting a boundary, or seeking counseling may be more helpful than pretending everything is fine. Family and community relationships also play a major role in Chinese ideas of well-being. Shared meals, caring for older relatives, and keeping in contact across generations can provide support and a sense of identity. Community activities such as Tai Chi, dancing, chess, mahjong, and volunteering can reduce isolation. At the same time, family relationships are not automatically healthy. Expectations can create pressure, and care should include respect for personal needs and boundaries. Serious mental health conditions cannot always be solved through positive thinking, meditation, or greater self-discipline. Depression, anxiety, addiction, and trauma may require professional support. Seeking help is not a failure of character, it is another way of nourishing life. Seasonal adjustment is a distinctive part of Chinese Yangsheng. Traditional advice may recommend lighter food and more hydration in summer, with warm meals and greater protection from cold weather in winter. The most useful principle here is not a rigid list of seasonal rules. It is the habit of paying attention to the environment. During very hot weather, drink enough water, reduce intense outdoor activity during the hottest part of the day, and protect yourself from strong sunlight. During cold weather, wear appropriate clothing and keep the living environment warm. Warm soup may feel comforting, but it is not a substitute for proper shelter. Alcohol may create a temporary sensation of warmth, but it is not a safe method of protecting the body from cold. Eating seasonal produce may offer greater variety and can sometimes be more affordable. However, we should remain flexible. A nutritious fruit or vegetable does not need to be avoided simply because a traditional food system calls it too hot or too cold. Medical needs, allergies, and individual tolerance are more important than symbolic classifications. Environmental health is also part of Yangsheng. Clean water, food hygiene, safe housing, and good air quality matter. Indoor smoking, incense, and poorly ventilated cooking fumes can harm the air inside a home. Protecting health sometimes means opening a window, using kitchen ventilation, or keeping the home completely free from tobacco smoke. Traditional Chinese medicine includes acupuncture, herbal products, massage, moxibustion, cupping, tai chi, Qigong, and dietary therapy. These practices do not all have the same purpose, evidence, or level of risk. Acupuncture may help some people manage certain pain conditions, but results vary. It should be performed by a properly trained professional using sterile equipment. Improper acupuncture can cause bleeding, infection, and, in rare cases, serious physical injury. Chinese therapeutic massage, known as tuina, may help some people relax or temporarily reduce muscular discomfort, but very forceful treatment is not necessarily better. People who are pregnant or who have osteoporosis, recent injuries, blood clotting disorders, or other medical conditions may require special precautions. Cupping creates suction on the skin and often leaves circular marks. Those marks are not proof that toxins have been removed. Improper cupping may cause burns, infections, or other skin injuries. Procedures that break the skin create additional risk. Herbal medicine requires even greater caution. Natural does not mean safe. Plants contain active chemicals. An herb may cause side effects or interact with prescription medicine. Some herbal products have also been found to contain contaminants, heavy metals, undeclared drugs, or the wrong plant species. People who are pregnant or breastfeeding, children, older adults, and those with liver, kidney, or heart conditions should be particularly careful. If you are thinking about using a traditional formula, tell your doctor and pharmacist about all the medicines and supplements you take. Most importantly, traditional Chinese medicine should not replace or delay essential medical care. Tai Chi may complement rehabilitation. Meditation may help someone manage stress. Acupuncture may be considered for certain forms of pain, but anyone who promises to cure cancer, replace insulin, eliminate a serious infection, or guarantee recovery should be treated with extreme caution. Responsible Yangsheng respects tradition, but it also respects evidence. So what might a modern Yangsheng routine actually look like? In the morning, open the curtains and allow natural light into the room. Drink water if you are thirsty, then spend 5 or 10 minutes stretching or practicing a gentle exercise such as Bajuanjin. Choose a breakfast containing whole grains, fruit, and a source of protein instead of relying only on a sweet drink or highly processed snack. During work or study, take short movement breaks. Stand up, stretch or walk for a few minutes. At lunch, include vegetables, a moderate portion of rice or another staple, and a source of protein such as tofu, beans, eggs, fish, or lean meat. Drink water regularly and keep sugary drinks and highly salty preserved foods as occasional choices. In the evening, enjoy a balanced dinner without eating until you feel painfully full. Take a comfortable walk if your health and surroundings allow it. Gradually make the evening quieter. Reduce caffeine and bright screens and try to go to bed at a consistent time. Across the week, combine gentle movement with suitable aerobic and muscle-strengthening activities. Make time for friends, family, hobbies, and quiet reflection. Remember that health preservation also includes vaccinations, dental care, medical checkups, and appropriate health screening. Traditional habits and modern healthcare do not need to compete. They can support each other. The Chinese art of Yangsheng is not a miracle diet, a secret exercise, or an expensive bottle of herbs. It is an attitude toward everyday life. It asks us to notice how we eat, move, sleep, work, rest, and connect with other people. Its most valuable principles are simple. Practice moderation, create regular habits, avoid unnecessary extremes, and respond to the needs of your body and environment. A varied diet, appropriate physical activity, sufficient sleep, emotional support, avoidance of tobacco, reduced alcohol consumption, and timely medical care form the strongest foundation. Traditional practices such as Tai Chi, Qigong, tea preparation, and seasonal cooking can enrich that foundation, as long as they are used safely and without exaggerated promises. Ultimately, Yangsheng is not only about living longer. It is about living with greater awareness, stability, and quality. Small choices may not feel dramatic, but when repeated over months and years, they shape the way we live. So, which Yangsheng habit would you like to try first? A walk after dinner, a more balanced meal, 10 minutes of Tai Chi, or simply going to bed a little earlier? Share your answer in the comments. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who wants to build a healthier and more balanced life. Thank you for watching, and remember, health is not created in a single day. It is nourished one habit at a time.